running every day, running to achieve a better result, running to keep up with our peers, and simply running for success. Life is like a marathon for many of us. And I believe that today in this auditorium, most of us must have been concerned about or are now in worry that if we stopped, we'll be surpassed. Or if we stopped, it will be impossible for us to reach our expected destination. But is it true? What people often forget is that the biggest difference between life and the marathon is that there is no timer in life and no end except death. So it is not wrong to stop when you are tired or to stop after falling. Hi, I'm Audrey. Today I want to share my story with anxiety disorder and how I learned to slow down and stop while dealing with it. The story began when I was in junior high school. The school is a really great school which ranked top in Guangzhou in terms of academic achievement. So you can imagine that my classmates are a group of excellent people who work very hard and often achieve good results in the examinations. In that environment, I can't help but force myself to work as hard as them, as I felt like I don't want to lose to them. I went to school at 6 a.m. every morning and went back home at 10 p.m. I tried my best. But unfortunately, sometimes success is not necessarily linked with hard working. I still failed the opportunity, and I was hit hard and fell into a cycle that led to anxiety disorder. First, I hated myself for not doing well. Secondly, I lose confidence in myself, and I think that I wouldn't do well the next time. Third, I develop anxiety. And fourth, being anxious affected my performance. Fifth, so I still failed the next opportunity. And I hated myself for that again. The cycle just kept continuing. And it was after a long time that I finally realized that I couldn't give any positive feedback to myself. After I was diagnosed with anxiety disorder, I actively accept drug treatment and psychological therapy as I want to get cured quickly and get my life back on track. But in fact, 3 years later, even today, I was still taking the medicine. And it was only in August that I realized the true reason behind why I couldn't get rid of this disease is that I kept pushing myself to move forward. In June, I participated in a competition which is in a field that I was not very familiar with. And because it was squeezed with exam time, I have minimal time to prepare, no more than 10 days. The result came out in August, and as expected, I was being eliminated. And also as expected, I was anxious again. After I collapsed, I was confused. I was confused about what am I afraid of? I was facing so many professional competitors in this area who have been preparing for the competition for months. Is it normal for me to be eliminated? What does that result represent? I thought about it until midnight and finally figured out that maybe what I was afraid of was not losing, but falling behind. I reviewed my years with anxiety disorder and discovered that the cycle and the thought of keep running had never disappeared and always affected me, including why I couldn't get rid of the medicine because I was too anxious to get cured and face life normally. So I made up my mind to stop. I gave myself 4 days to travel to a neighboring city which I was not very familiar with. And before the trip, I told myself, don't care about anything. And I did. In that trip, the only thing that I do was to enjoy the scenery on the way and try delicious food. I was very happy. That was the first time I learned to stop and love myself. After that, I need to went back to my normal life quickly because I need to prepare for my college application. While there are still a lot of things ahead of me, and while I still couldn't guarantee that I won't be anxious again, I feel like I was ready for these things, as I know that I have the chance to stop and adjust. Once again, I have a question. How can stopping alter my conditions? Besides of the soothing effect of leisure, I hit the pause button, I stopped the timer, and most importantly, I learned to get along with myself. Getting along with yourself is not like talking to yourself or isolating yourself from anybody else. Getting along with yourself is to build understanding between you and your mind. For me, it's to understand my anxiety. Nobody recognized me when I was wandering around the foreign city with my headphones on and on my own. First, nobody would bother me. I could allow the negative thoughts to rise in my head and experience the depression, fear, anger that it may cause, and the anxiety that came afterward. Anxiety could appear at any time in the day when I was having my meal, when I was relaxing on my bed after long days of traveling. But I allow it to exist because at that point, time for me is suspended. I don't have to get over my current state of mind to do anything else. First, I have enough time to experiment and figure out the best way for me to reduce its negative effects on me. Although it is true that stopping isn't a permanent solution for every single problems in our life, there is undeniable value to stop and adjust. As when we are confronted with obstacle, getting caught up in a cycle of self-blaming and internal struggle will only serve to drag us further down into desperate. Fourth, it is crucial to recognize the heaviness of the circumstances that we are facing. This can help us to grant ourselves the opportunity to carefully consider our next step. Finally, I hope that whenever in the future when you face any setbacks and failures, you could remember what I said today. Stop and found the answer through the applause. Thank you for listening.